All right, guys, I'm going to try not to ramble. So I finished up the Carouse extension. So real quick, carousing is something you do as a downtime activity. Maybe you research a spell, maybe you craft something, but in this instance, you're going to spend your hard-earned money to just go out on the town and have some fun. Okay, and how I run it in my games is 1 gold spent is potentially 1 experience point gained. Okay, and then there's the opportunity to have negative outcomes. There's the opportunity to have neutral outcomes, and there's the opportunity to have good outcomes. Okay, and so how I have it is that there's a token here. You just drag it to this, and it's linked to Argbor here. It has a charisma bonus there, and there's a multiplier depending on where you are. There's different levels. Night on the town, or night at the tavern, night on, let's see, 250. Night on the town, world is my oyster, and then finally there's the make it rain, okay, where you can wager a whole lot. So these quickly escalate. So the bad consequences and the good positive boons, they escalate. The more money you spend, the potential to roll those high 90s are greatly increased. Like, it's impossible to roll a 90 if you're just going to do a night at the tavern, because I limit the number of the dice you can roll, right? Because you shouldn't be able to spend 50 gold and win the deed to a villa outside town, right? But if you're going to just go and paint the town, there's some chance some good things can happen and some bad things can happen. Like, you could end up in a summoning circle and a demon could be summoned and you could be in a lot of trouble. Someone could die. People could be after you. I mean, bad stuff, right? But all of these have like adventure hooks. There's always NPCs that are met. There are potentially quests that are done. There's one where there's a mine that's abandoned. You've entered into a business relationship with a dwarf. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in here, okay? And one thing I did add was this little button. So if I unhide it, then the players see what's rolled, which, is cool because it's funny, but like, maybe you don't want them to see it. Like, this one's okay. You wake up and feel rejuvenated and gain inspiration, and all your dexterity-based rolls are at advantage for the rest of the day. So, I mean, this is kind of a low roll. The low roll ones aren't quite as, some of them are funny, but they're not quite as good, right? But some of these you're probably going to want to hide. Well, actually, see, I'm at a night at the tavern here, so let's ramp it up and get some higher rolls. So there you go. There's a 90. So, like, you don't want them to maybe read this one, right? Or maybe you do. You just show it to them like that, right? This is the one where there's a crypt under the city. The old ones were buried there, and so it's an adventure hook. Okay, so that's why I put this hide in there. Now, the carousing roll itself, they'll always see that, whether it's a positive outcome or a negative outcome or hopefully a neutral here. Look at that, perfect, right? And then there's several different neutral outcomes. Neutral outcomes, you always get your experience, but there's always something funny that happens to you. Okay, so just to kind of make it, you went on this drunk bender and something happened. Okay, so I tried to make these, there's not a lot of he's, there's not a lot of she's. Everything's kind of ambiguous so that your players can feel comfortable. But again, that's why you can hide it. You can read it. You're like, okay, they won't think this joke is funny. I'm not going to let them see this, and then you can change it for your audience how you see fit. There's no bad words in here or anything like that, but I'm an adult and I have Navy humor. I was in the Navy for 23 years, so there is that. Okay, and all of these were read to my wife and my teenagers, so for whatever that's worth. So anyways, the art right here, these little tankers, they were drawn by my daughter. She's a little artist, and she's a teenager, and so she's letting me use those. I think that's about it. Just remember that your carousing budget greatly impacts the opportunity. It actually affects the dice you roll. I think I said that. That's a little change from last time because, like if I'm in a night at the tavern, I'm only rolling 3D10 plus my charisma modifier. Okay. But, if I want to get in the 90s, I got to make it rain. And that's when I roll the percentile. Oh, look, that's like the worst roll you can get, a boon result of 2. Okay, so anyways, I hope you guys will pick this up on the Forge. I'm going to put it on there for a couple bucks. If you have boons or consequences that you think are funny that you'd like to contribute, I'll add them, you know. And if you want to see anything else on this extension for carousing, or you want to maybe you think it should be done a little bit differently, I'm totally open to that. It's for you guys to use in your games, and I appreciate you watching the video. Thanks.